We're back at Portman Road for today's main feature on BBC Radio Suffolk as Ipswich Town return to championship action ahead of kick-off against Birmingham City. Let's join our commentary team with former town captain Mick Mills back alongside Brenna Woolley.
Certainly been an international break that lived long in the memory for reasons none of us could ever have dreamt of when the full-time whistle blew against Millwall 16 days ago, which actually seems more like 16 months ago. Now though, whatever your thoughts on the Farage fiasco, and I know very well that for many people their strength of feeling hasn't subsided, it's time to get behind Kieran McKenna and his players for what we're all hoping are the final 8 games of the season. We certainly don't want the last couple of weeks to have a negative impact on their promotion push. With just 2 more home games to come after this afternoon, with 5 of their remaining 8 on the road, most of us feel this one has to end in a town victory. That's not just because they need to keep up the pressure on the top 2. In fact, they'll go second with 3 points today because Norwich have just beaten Millwall. The win would also be a timely boost out of a certain fixture in just 5 days' time. And Mick, that's right, isn't it? However people are feeling about Mark Ashton and the recent shenanigans this afternoon and for the next few weeks, it has to be all about backing the boys in blue, doesn't it?
Oh, very much so. You know, this is what it's been. You know, you have a long sort of time from August to April. You know, there's been lots of, problems on the way, if you like, trying to get a new team together. Who's the best player to play in this position, that position? Now, it's just, for me, it's like taking a deep breath now. And by the time you let everything out, it'll be all over, because 8 fixtures in this sort of space of time, in a month, it's all going to happen, and you just have to be ready for it. I don't understand why people see it as such a difficult thing as far as fitness is concerned. I think the fitness side of it is a piece of cake. I really do. I think the toughest part of this period is the pressure. Can the players take the pressure of it? Today, not so much pressure, but the further in you go, the pressure will build without question. And that's the problem that I think there might be, not just with us. It might be with Millwall, it might be with Middlesbrough, it can be with anybody. But the fitness side of it, these boys can take care of that, no problem.
Good atmosphere here on this bank holiday Monday at Portman Road. A little chill in the air, but it's gorgeously sunny and barely a cloud overhead as the 2 sets of players come out of the tunnel off to our right-hand side, led by centre-half Dara O'Shea and Christoph Clara. Town in blue, white, blue. Looks like Birmingham are going to be in their all-red kit when they take off their black shirts above them at the moment. 2 changes for Ipswich Town from the side that drew with Millwall last time here. Mehmeti drops to the bench. Athon is out with a minor knock. Fingers crossed for him at Carrow Road or Fratton Park in the next week or so. Don't want to be without the Spaniard for too long. Town haven't got great strength and depth in number 9. Income Nunez, his first game having missed the last 3. And Hurst, of course, plays instead of Athon. So Walton in goal. The back 4 of Furlong, O'Shea, Greaves and Johnson, despite the fact that Cedric Kipre is available after his ban. He's only on the bench, so Johnson keeps his place in the back line. Then you got Matu Siwa alongside Neil once again. A 3 of McAteer, Nunez and Clark. And up top, Hurst looking for his 10th goal of the season. On the bench alongside Kipre, Palmer, Egeli Kayuste, Taylor, Baggett, Akpom, Mehmeti and Philogene. 7 changes to the Birmingham side that lost 1-0 at home to Blackburn on Good Friday. The only 4 survivors are Beadle, the keeper, Clara at centre-half, Pike in midfield and Stansfield, you understand, will play in the number 10. So Beadle is in goal. The back 4 is Osei Samuel, Neumann, Clara and Panzo. Panzo's the centre-half playing at left back. Then you've got Pike alongside Solis, the 3 of Vicente, Stansfield and Gray, and Priska will lead the line for Birmingham. On the bench, Allsop led Robinson, Tamoki, Doyle, Roberts, Kanya, Osman and Dutch. What do you make of the decision to keep the back 4 as it was and not put Cedric Kipre straight back in, Mick?
Well, I think Kieran is trying to box clever. He's trying to be fair to everybody. And I think he's got more than this game in mind. He's got the Norwich game in mind. And I think that if he had brought Kipre back in, say for Jacob Greaves today, maybe the signal to Jacob wouldn't have been the right thing at this stage of the season. If it was Ben Johnson who came out the side, the signal to him is not quite right. I think deep down Kieran fancies his chances against Birmingham, and he feels that he can put one or two different players into this starting lineup and still get the result. I think when he goes to Norwich, he wants Kipri out there. He really does. And I think he's an example for one or two others as well, So I think this is a two-game scenario.
Kipri, of course, the goal scorer in the first East Anglian derby of the season, which was a successful one for Kieran McKenna back in the autumn. Can they complete the double Saturday lunchtime up the road? This afternoon, though, it's all about Ipswich Town beating Birmingham City. Adam Hertzog is the referee in all black in the centre of Portman Road as Ipswich Town via Marcelino Nunez, getting ready for his first return to Carrow Road at the weekend. Prepares to get this one underway. As you can hear, terrific atmosphere inside Portman Road for this fixture. It's the reverse of the opening day of the championship season. It was 1-1, George Hurst with a late penalty cancelling out Jay Stansfield's opener in the West Midlands rain. Town in blue, white, blue, playing from left to right against the all-red of Birmingham, who've lost their last 3 away games without scoring, and just in general, a terrible run of form overall. They have been particularly weak on their travels as well all season, just the 5 away wins. They did win at Carrow Road recently, the only away team to pick up 3 points there in the last 3 months, but aside from that they've been poor. Ipswich Town win the ball high up the pitch, a chance for McAteer over the bar from just inside the area, hit it with all of his might, but just got under it too much and it flew into the Sir Alf Ramsey stand. Yeah,
that was good for Town. There was a loose ball there, and sometimes just go in there just to make sure the ball cannons off of the guy that you're going in with, because it can break and it can go to anybody, and that's what happened. We hit the shins of a Birmingham City player, and it cannons off, and it actually creates the first chance of the game.
Does look like Birmingham are lining up with that 4 at the back that I described a few moments ago. They played with 3 at the back in their game before Good Friday, a defeat to Derby County. Definitely the 4 with Panzo at left back as things start to settle down here. There is Matusiwa, gives the ball away to the right-hand side, and Vicente now onto the centre spot with a blonde-haired Clara, sweeps it to his left-hand side, and Panzo, who started at Chelsea but spent most of his career on the continent, once in England under-17 World Cup winner Jonathan Panzo, miscontrolled in the centre of the field by Vicente. Matusiwa has been held by Pike, Blake, shirt tugged there by the South Korean midfielder. Free kick to Town in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, and the referee's quite rightly had a word with him, so he'll be in the referee's mind, because that's a silly sort of thing to do.
Briscoe goes and closes down O'Shea, who swipes the ball to his left side, and Greaves hoists it down the far touchline. Johnson's gone advance of Clark, but the ball drops to the pink boots of Clark. Here is Dan Neal to Dara O'Shea on the centre spot. Darnell Furlong in the shade underneath us, tries to play a ball forward. Nunez is down on the deck. Pike, the number 8, comes away with the ball. Infield to Solis, the Colombian, who's robbed by Nunez. Here is Dan Neal driving for Ipswich Town, gets the better of back position. Hurst just inside the area, down the right channel, outside the box, and support is McAteer. McAteer has the ball underneath us and passes it back to Furlong. Furlong, good ball to Hurst inside the area. Flag stays down. Hurst run into traffic. Tries to get the ball back off Clara. Clara pokes it off of Hurst, and it's out for a goal kick to Birmingham.
Yeah, all over the place, Birmingham at the moment, so this augurs really well for Town. I do believe if we can reach a level today, we'll see this Birmingham side off. I really do. And they have started badly, Birmingham.
They haven't got a great deal to play for, Birmingham. Not going up, not going down, as Beadle gets ready to take this goal kick off to our right-hand side. Town know that a win will take them into second place. Middlesbrough don't play until tea time away at Swansea. Millwall have already lost to Norwich. Hurst with a header down. Panzer nods it away from Nunez. Clara plays it forward early, trying to get in behind. On the far side is Carlos Vicente. In midfield, Stansfield battling for the ball for Birmingham. Was said to be coveted by Ipswich Town when he was at Fulham. Stansfield, he's on 10 goals for the season. And it's Vicente trying to play it forward to Stansfield on the Birmingham right. On halfway, Asay Samuel. He likes to get forward from right back. Now Solis controls it, gives it back to Asay Samuel. 0-0. 4 minutes on the clock. Just 2 more home games for Ipswich Town after this one. Middlesbrough a week on Sunday, and then QPR on the final day. On the left-hand side, the experienced Demarai Gray, back in his second spell at St Andrews. He's impeded by Furlong. Free kick to the visitors, wide left, just down to our left.
Yeah, both teams are playing with a 4-2-3-1. The only sort of thing that you might want to sort of watch carefully with Birmingham is that Stansfield, I think, is really a number 9 playing in 10. So his desire to get alongside the 9 will be sort of there all through the game.
Pike and Gray stood over this free kick. It's going to be Gray, right-footed, knocks it into Christian Walton's area. There's a man on the far post, it's deflected and into a side netting out behind. It was Vicente who's got his head in his hands. That was a chance for Birmingham.
Yeah, far too much room on his own on the back post. Nobody really. We've got a line that should cover the whole sort of width of that sort of area, that dangerous area, but we've got nobody at all on that back post.
Birmingham City have won the first corner kick of the afternoon in the spring sunshine at Portman Road. Referee wants a word with Panzo and Neil inside the 6-yard area in front of the north stand. Not too many empty seats noticeable inside Portman Road for this fixture. Birmingham with this corner kick. It's Vicente who won it, and it comes to the Ipswich Town area, headed away by O'Shea. Nunez tries to get on the ball, gets it to McAteer. McAteer spoons it up left-footed to the halfway line. Clark heads it on to Nunez. Nunez up against Asay Samuel, who helps it on its way back to the man in all green, Beadle. Big first-time kick from Beadle downfield, chested down by O'Shea for Furlong. Furlong looking forward down this touchline towards McAteer. He's wrestled to the ground by Panzo. Free kick Town.
Yeah, that was comfortable for Dara O'Shea. A big long kick from the goalkeeper. No pressure whatsoever on him, and he was able just to chest the ball to Darnell Furlong. No pressure.
5 defeats in the last 7 for Birmingham. 1 win, 1 draw. One of the poorest form sides at the moment in the division, as Greaves tries to find Johnson. 3rd time they've played as a partnership on the left-hand side of defence in a row. And the D off to our right-hand side, Clara. Back the ball goes to Beadle, who made at least 3 excellent saves to keep Blackburn at bay to a point on Friday. Would have been a worse defeat for them had he not. Although his form's been inconsistent this season, Beadle, by the sounds of things. Kind of a man down with a head issue. Looks like it's Jacob Greaves, so the referee is blowing up to see if he requires some treatment.
Yeah, it is Jacob Greaves who's complaining to the referee about possible elbow there.
It's getting a replay of that. Prisco Rose, sort of his trailing arm, really.
Yeah, it's his forearm with his trailing arm. I don't think he sort of deliberately did that, but he's caught it nastily anyway.
Greaves hobbling off on the far side of the field with a couple of members of Ipswich Town's medical staff. Kieran McKenna, arms folded, and all black standing down below us. Seeing if this current crop of players can do what no Ipswich Town team has ever done before, and that's win promotion a year after being relegated. Right-footed forward from Clara. Furlong ducks underneath it, sees it out behind. Could be an interesting duel between those two, Gray versus Furlong on this near side. Good player, Demarai Gray. Back at Birmingham after 9 years away.
Yeah, I remember the first game of the season, they were pretty good down their left-hand side, but I think it's changed somewhat. I don't think the left-back is the same, so, but that's where their threat came from.
Walton, left-footed with this goal kick for Ipswich Town still 0-0 if you're joining us 8.5 minutes in. Hurst heads the ball on McAteer, trying to get the better of Panzo. Panzo last ditch gets it away under good pressure from McAteer. McAteer might have some joy against Panzo this afternoon. Throw to Ipswich. He's certainly not a left back, Panzo. Furlong with his first attacking throw-in of this game, which is pretty much 9 minutes old. In it comes the Birmingham area. 2 players go down. It's O'Shea and Prisker. Prisker, one of the many January arrivals at St Andrews. Belgian-born Danish striker, very tall. Furlong gets another opportunity to hurl the ball into the Birmingham City box off to our right-hand side. Town looking for a goal in the 10th minute to open things up, and it goes a fair old distance. Headed up and away by Neumann, nodded down by Neal, stopped away by Pike, collected by Stansfield, shields it away from Nunez, leaning into one another, shirt-tugging the pair of them. Stansfield's got the better of Nunez. Gray down the line to Stansfield, tries to touch it round Furlong. Nunez has carried on running. Good work from the Chilean. Then Matusiwa almost lost the ball to Gray. Got some help from Johnson. Good covering in field by the left back, and out the ball goes.
He needed him to come in as well. That's Matusiwa does a lot of good things, but he can be caught on the ball, and that was one of his bad ones.
Nunez has done well to find Neal, becoming a fixture in the side. Terrible pass from Neal. Pike couldn't control it though. Here once again is McAteer between the two managers. Chris Davis's first time here as a manager, second full season in charge of Birmingham City, the man that led them to the League One title last season. Been getting a bit of criticism of late. This season not going quite as they expected it. Furlong looking forward towards Hurst. In stepped Neumann, then extended his left leg out and cleared the ball into touch. Quick throw from McAteer, which was good to see, finding Nunez. Nunez holding it up against Pike. Darnell Furlong. Greaves wants it in the middle. He's back on the field after taking a smack to the face. Greaves to Clark, who was so good against Millwall, and then was switched sides by Kieran McKenna and completely went out of the game. O'Shea to Matusiwa. Lots of people's call for Town's player of the season so far, the Dutchman. Here is Neal once more. Telling Jack Clark where he wanted him to go. O'Shea looks for Clark out. Good ball for Clark. He's done well to get now. Say Samuel clears up towards the half line, and the tall player Prisker. O'Shea wins the header though. Neal tidies up with a little nod back to Greaves. Johnson finds Greaves once again, back to Johnson. Johnson comes in, feeling his stronger right foot and finds Neal. The crowd appreciated that. Neal with an excellent diagonal, finding McAteer. McAteer has a chance to run at Panzer. This is good football from Ipswich Town. McAteer ball into the box to Hurst. His first touch was terrible, and it goes straight through to Beadle.
That was good play from McAteer. He was the one playing a high level there, and George Hurst didn't really sort of understand what he was doing.
Long ball downfield by Birmingham, which just grazes Dara O'Shea's forehead on its route back to Christian Walton. 12 minutes gone, 0-0. Town with Nunez and Hurst in for Mehmeti and the injured Athon. We'll ask Kieran McKenna post-match what the Spaniards' chances are of featuring at the weekend are. Already this lunchtime, Portsmouth drew with Oxford, and Norwich came from behind to do Town a massive favour by winning at Millwall. Norwich in excellent form. Johnson saw the run of Neal. It's a good run from Neal, but the ball just curls away from him and into touch, but the crowd applaud the idea from Ipswich Town.
Yeah, it was a good run. It just required an outside of the right foot pass from a left back position. Ben Johnson's done a good job there, but he should really sort of understand that pass can't be made with your right foot, the inside of your right foot.
Birmingham made 7 changes ahead of this one from the team that lost to Blackburn on Friday. It was a big win for Michael O'Neill's side. There is Stansfield losing out to Matusiwa. Clark in field, headed away by Clara, chested down by Prisker for Vicente, who's impressed Vicente when he's been given opportunities for Birmingham. They've been in short supply of those opportunities, but fans have immediately taken to the Spaniard, who's sporting yellow boots over on the far side in this first half. Ipswich Town penalised for a chopping challenge on Say Samuel. Beadle from way out of his area is going to be taking this free kick for the visitors. Here we're at 14th in the table, 11 points off the playoffs at the start of the day. Beadle goes long, too long, and it's out behind off to our left for a goal kick to Walton. Only Carl Rushworth of Coventry has kept more clean sheets than Christian Walton this season. And of course, we must remember Alex Palmer, start of the season, as Town's number one. He's done terrifically well, Christian, since he came back in. 14 gone, still looking for an Easter Monday goal at Portman Road as Walton, both hands in the air, gets ready to take this left footer. Goes from left to right, Hurst goes down. You can hear the appeals from the crowd. Nothing to do in terms of the referee. Neumann got the better of him fairly, thought Mr. Herzog. Up to Vicenti. Now with Solis. Solis goes back to Beadle. First time high kick to the centre of the field by Beadle. Like Christian Walton earlier on his career, was on loan from Brighton. Beadle had a full season at Sheffield Wednesday at this level last year, so knows all about the Championship. As Vicenti is caught in the centre circle, free kick to Birmingham City.
Yeah, I think that was fair enough. I think that was a free kick. We've just got to be careful we don't sort of get into a bit of a lull. At the moment, the game is not really going anywhere. I think that is down to us. I think we've got to dictate the pace of the game and the direction of the game.
That's just what I was thinking. It's not been the barnstorming start that we hoped from Ipswich Town's perspective. Get on the front foot and keep up that pressure. At the moment, there is definitely a lull in proceedings. Birmingham free kick just north of the centre circle. Pike hoisted into the Ipswich area off to our left. Huddle of bodies went for it, couldn't make anything of it. And the final touch was that of a Birmingham player, so it's a goal kick to Christian Walton. Yeah, Town have got Norwich away on Saturday, then a week tomorrow we're at Fratton Park, keeping our fingers crossed that game finally happens. Town's next home game, the penultimate one of the season, is on Sunday the 19th when Middlesbrough come here for a lunchtime game. And that's another midweek at Charlton before at West Brom, Southampton, QPR. That's all there is now between Ipswich Town and their potential destiny. As Johnson clears the ball away from left back. Hurst battling with Neumann. Marcelino Nunez brings the ball away. Nunez forward towards McAteer. Cross goes Panzo. Panzo gets there just ahead of McAteer, who made a good run centrally. It was unlucky from Town.
Yeah, it was a good break in the end, but I thought we'd got ourselves into a spot of bother by going short and ended up with the ball in our own left corner flag. And I thought it would do take some good work to come out of there. In the end, we managed to do it and nearly produced a chance.
Neil doesn't measure his layoff back to Johnson on the far side correctly. It's out of play for a throw to Birmingham City. It's going to be taken by Bright Say Samuel. Played here as a 17-year-old for Blackpool. He's been at Fenerbahce in recent times, just brought back from Turkish football last summer. Bright Say Samuel to add a bit of championship experience to the Birmingham squad. Ball's out of play far side off Priska for a throw to Ipswich Town. O'Shea has it at centre half for Town. Go back to Walton on the edge of his area. Walton closed down by Priska. Plays it out to Greaves in the left back area. Greaves up to Clark. Clark can't get control of the ball. Say Samuel. Birmingham get themselves a bit of a muddle in the centre of the field. And then finally the referee blows up for a foul. Was it by Neumann on Hurst? He wants a word, the referee does, with the big German centre half.
Yeah, it's the only area really on the pitch that there's been any sort of physicality at all, and it's between Neumann and obviously George Hurst.
Neil standing over this free kick, gives the ball to Greaves. Back to Neil on the halfway line for Ipswich Town in blue. Neil trying to search up McAteer on this near side, the right. In his way, there's his marker Panzo. Panzo heads it away and gives it to Gray. Here is Solis. Solis tried to find Panzo, but he spun back to Clara. Now Panzo has got the ball underneath us. Good closing down from McAteer, who's been lively from the outset in this game, the former Leicester player. Machusima's gone down off the ball. Not sure what that's all about. Saw Jack Taylor go out for a run ahead of the other town subs a few moments ago, but now Matusiwa's gone down quite dramatically and getting some attention to his left knee by Matt Byard.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, so I really can't sort of advise on that. You know, he just seemed to sort of just go down voluntarily. There was nobody near him. It's obviously something happened just a few seconds ago, and it's enough to concern him.
Yeah, he's getting his left thigh strapped up by Matt Byard at the moment. What are your thoughts on this first exactly 19 minutes that we've seen, Nick?
Well, I thought we started okay in as much that we got ourselves a half chance within seconds, you know, and I thought we'd go on from there. But, you know, sometimes if you're not over impressed with the opposition, you can sort of take your foot off the gas a little bit and try and, you know, take control of the game in a controlled way. But sometimes you've got to do a bit more than that. I think it's for us to dictate the pace of the game. We're going to be the better side most of the time through this, so we've got to play at a high level, and if that is enough to take care of this Birmingham team, so be it. That's taking care of the result as well. At the moment, we're playing too comfortably.
It's a lot of strapping on a key player for Ipswich Town with 70 minutes to go. As Matusiwa has been patched up. He's going to be all right to come on in 30 seconds time or so. Exactly 20 minutes gone in this championship match, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Still goalless. Birmingham City here at Portman Road this Easter Monday as Town get the ball to the far side, and Johnson, their current left back. Leif Davis is available for Carrow Road on Saturday. The ball is now with Dara O'Shea, the right-sided centre-half. He goes long towards Hurst. Hurst was always going to be flagged offside.
Yeah, I think the centre-half knew that. He didn't seem to be showed no urgency to really close George Hurst down, so I think he pretty much, like the assistant referee, it was a definite offside.
Here is Beadle from outside his area. So he came through at Charlton before he got his chance with Brighton. James Beadle yet to feature for them, but he is well regarded on the south coast. Headed away from the back by O'Shea, and again from the captain, nodded down by Hurst against the back of Solis's head. Birmingham get the ball out to potentially dangerous Gray, but thankfully he lost his footing on the well-watered grass. Greaves finds Neal, then a little triangle, it goes back to Johnson. Johnson to Clark, forward come Ipswich Town. Clark holds off the challenge of Solis, still has the ball. Clark through a little gap to Neal, he lays it off nicely to the left-hand side, and Hurst into the area down the left channel. His cross is deflected out behind. Town win their first corner.
Yeah, super ball out of defence by Ben Johnson, I think it was, and that sort of set the whole thing up. Clark in a nice bit of possession there, you know, and we sort of carried a threat, you know, and it was all down to the pass out of defence.
Good play from Town. Approaching the midway point of this first half on BBC Radio Suffolk Sports. Still Ipswich Town 0, Birmingham City 0. Town, they'll have their first corner kick of the game. Clark is going to take it from within the far right corner underneath the big screen. Can he target hit in the centre? Can he find one? And the minute comes, double-fisted away from Beadle. The overhead from Nunez as Neal was running onto it. Still hasn't been cleared by Birmingham. It's alive inside their area, not for long. Belted long by Solis to Walton. Walton gives it to Matusiwa. Back it goes to Walton as they make the chance to do a little bit of running between the two of them. Now Matusiwa square to Johnson on the halfway line. Clark wants it on that far touch line. Clark's got it. Looking for his 15th goal of the season, Clark, which would equal his best ever season. McAteer forward but away from Greaves, who stayed up front, and the ball is back now with Beadle inside his penalty area. Town beaten the last 5 against Birmingham, albeit 4 of those have been draws, including the 1-1 here, which sent Ipswich Town down now almost 7 years ago. Demarai Gray has gone down holding his head after a clash with Darnell Furlong. Gray's come off the worse. Jay Stansfield just checking on Darnell Furlong. He's all right. I think he's going to check on Demarai Gray. Furlong seemed quite concerned about him. Totally accidental. Demarai Gray's in a lot of trouble at the moment.
Just wondering about Matasiwa, really. You know, he's got, you don't have a strap-in put round your sort of thigh for no reason at all. I'm not quite sure why they do it, but he's obviously got a problem there, and he might just sort of just play a very cagey little game. He's probably just trying to work out exactly what he's done. He's doing sort of just some squats at the moment, so he's concerned.
All right, Gray still in a lot of trouble. Birmingham have sent out a few substitutes, as well as so too of Ipswich Town. Let's go back to Graham. It's 0-0 here.
So already in the Championship today, Portsmouth 2, Oxford 2 and Millwall 1, Norwich 2 full-time scores. In the 3 o'clock, Sheffield Wednesday had an early lead against Leicester, still 1-0, Jerry Yates. And things continue to go well so far for Roy Hodgson at Bristol City. They lead Sheffield United 1-0.
Yeah, Roy Hodgson back in football over the international break. Town unbeaten in 9 here against Birmingham, all the way to Boxing Day 2008. Birmingham just with 1 win in the last 12 on this pitch. Last time here a couple of seasons ago. As Town were on their way to promotion, of course. They beat Birmingham 3-1. Chaplin, Sarmiento and Hutchinson. Those were the days.
I would have thought Roy Hodgson had a garden to take care of.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But yes.
Why can't he be just like any other?
He can't help himself, can he?
Retired man.
He started well. Gray. Because he had been there, was it 46 years ago, something like that? He'd been at Bristol City. It's his second spell. It might be 44 years, might be 1982 between his first spell and his second. That's got to be some kind of record. Now managing Sam Morsey and co in the West Country. Demarai Gray is up and on his feet, which is good to see. Chris Davis just checking on him as well. Of course, any thoughts of concussion, you would be taken off immediately. Just have a little drink as play is about to resume. So it's probably 3 minutes at least added on at the end of this half, which so far is goalless on BBC Radio Suffolk. Vicente keeps the ball in, tries to get away from Johnson, and he's played it off Johnson, and it's a corner kick to Birmingham once again, their second.
Yeah, he's done well. The free kick wasn't really going into any particular area, not a dangerous area, but after that the idea was to win a corner kick, and they've done that, and they've got a lot of red-shirted players in the box.
Some tall boys in this Birmingham side. Vicente on this corner kick for the visitors. Into the Ipswich box it comes, headed away well by Furlong. Can be recycled by Neumann. Now he's let it go out for a throw-in. As Demarai Gray comes back on the field for Birmingham City. Ipswich crowd trying to play their part and get behind the team. Not a great deal happening at the moment. Disappointing. Panzu throws the ball towards Stansfield in his battle with Furlong. Matthew-Siwa to O'Shea. O'Shea clears it up to Hurst. Poor touch from Hurst. Pike challenges successfully for the ball. Matthew-Siwa's in there. Pike forward to Priska. The ball breaks to him inside the area. He tries to pull it square. Again, good defending from Johnson. Excellent work from Ben Johnson. Sniffed out the danger and got himself in there. Birmingham touch it out on halfway for an Ipswich Town throw.
Well, I would have thought that was a chance, and it's worth taking a speculative shot, really, rather than try and sort of square it. The square ball just wasn't on it. They should have had a shot.
McAteer coming in field towards the edge of the Birmingham area, 0-0. Neumann's header away wasn't the best. Nunez touches it down for Neumann to put his right foot through it. He's launched it high into the sky. Priska will challenge O'Shea. Still going to challenge O'Shea. O'Shea's headed the ball down and gets it out of play over the top of Chris Davis for a throw to Birmingham.
Yeah, we've got to get on our bike sooner or later. I mean, it'd be surprising. I bet the players don't even know that there's almost half an hour gone of this game, because they're just really idling through it.
It's pretty poor, it has to be said. Got to be better than this in the first 28 minutes on Saturday. Every time I see Norwich, they look a very good side. They look a lot better than Ipswich Town, it has to be said. Throws the ball in the field towards Greaves. Vicente get there first. Greaves has done well. Greaves to Johnson. What can Ipswich Town do now? Johnson along the floor to Clark. Forward come the Blues from left to right. Clark on the far side, the left wing, gives it back to Johnson underneath the Birmingham fans, wanting to take on his man, get his cross in. He's won Ipswich Town. The corner kick has Johnson, who's been as decent as anybody out there in blue so far.
Yeah, I think he's done really well, but they actually defended that situation well. The two Birmingham players, they sort of made sure they weren't going to come in. We couldn't come inside. We had two right-footed players out there, made us go down the sides, but in the end a corner kick was about the best we could achieve, and we achieved it.
There's going to be another break, and players that say Samuel's down. No, he's been helped up by his teammates. It's he who made the block from Johnson. Corner kick to Ipswich Town. 29 minutes gone. Still goalless. It's going to be Clark who plays it in. Greaves goes down in the area. Referee signalled that it's only another corner kick, not a penalty, because Beadle tipped it over the crossbar. Greaves is adamant that he was brought down in the area, complaining to anybody to listen.
I watched him in the previous corner kick from exactly the same position. I knew what he wants to do. He wants to peel right round the back, and he was actually prevented from doing that in the earlier one, which never actually came to anything. So, you know, somebody in that penalty area has got to be careful.
Half an hour played. Ipswich Town have a corner kick. It will be Jack Clark to put it in off to our right hand side towards Beadle, who punched it away as far as Johnson. Johnson's touch is a good one. Back to Clark, the corner kick taker. He's run into trouble, and then he's caught solace. Free kick to Birmingham at the back.
Well, the goalkeeper's done well to sort of punch the ball from underneath his crossbar, but I think then when it goes out to the left-hand side, I think that Jack Clark has just got to forget about scoring from that position. I think you've got enough colleagues inside that penalty area from the initial corner just to whip it in again and just say, right, you defended the first one, try and defend this one. But he's sort of got caught in possession.
Yeah, you're right. He's trying for the spectacular again, which is great when it works out, but you've got to play the percentages, and play it in for his colleagues was definitely the right thing to do. Priska's header goes all the way back to Walton into the final quarter of an hour of this first half. Walton out to O'Shea. Back the ball goes to Christian Walton on the penalty spot. Off to our left-hand side, live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Greaves up towards Hurst. Hurst under pressure from Neumann has done well on that occasion, but then just outnumbered. Pike gets a touch back to Clara. Clara, what on earth that was, I've no idea. Terrible pass, straight out near side.
The crowd are being a bit naughty with George Hurst. They're almost waiting for him to sort of be loose on the ball so they can have a go.
Good chest trap down by Hurst to McAteer. McAteer goes round Neumann. McAteer has to score. Saved by Beadle. Oh, but he's got to put that in. McAteer was clear. It was terrific play from him initially, but he's then got to find the net. It was a good save from Beadle, a very good save, but what an opportunity missed for Town to go 1-0 up.
Well, he's one possession of the ball when the defender should have dealt with it, but he didn't, and then he should score.
He has to score. Here come Birmingham. Stansfield, ball into the area. Travel distance. Vicente makes it 1-0 to Birmingham. That's how you finish. That is how you score a goal. Ipswich Town 0, Birmingham City 1, just seconds after McAteer wasted an almighty chance for Ipswich Town. Birmingham have made their fans sing. It's Ipswich Town 0, Birmingham City 1.
Well, that's quite staggering. I mean, we should score. McAteer should score, but I had a feeling he wouldn't because of what he's done previously, and I think he would have been very nervous about taking that chance. And anyway, he's missed the opportunity. They've gone down the other end, and they have scored a really well-taken goal. Big team meeting going on in the middle of the pitch from Town. Obviously, I think that's Dara O'Shea is not happy with what's going on. He's called everybody together.
He's not the only one.
And he's had a pre-match huddle again. You know, that's what you do at the start of the game. He obviously is really disappointed with his boys, you know, and he's called them in. You don't normally get that, but he's called a huddle.
Here is O'Shea at the back for Ipswich Town. Really smart finish from Vicente. It was noticeable that George Hurst went straight to Casey McAteer. That huddle, put his arm round him and rubbed the back of his head. You know exactly how he'll be feeling having missed that opportunity. 30 seconds earlier? Really dramatic end-to-end stuff. Well, As we sadly have to keep harping on about, because it hasn't changed. Town have got to do something they haven't done for over 2 years now, and that's come from behind to win. We've got to stop talking about the Sarmiento moment being the last time on the 1st of April 2024 that Ipswich Town won from behind. Because 1-1's not good enough in this game. One step at a time, of course. They've got to get themselves level, but they've got to go on and win this game and show more than they've shown in this 33.5 minutes.
Yeah, but again, they've got to improve, haven't they?
Oh, they do.
We are we really are bad for sort of either getting the second half wrong or the first half wrong, and then realising that we have to step things up. Our attitude's not been spot on. I think deep down we felt this was going to be an easy win. You don't get easy wins. You've got to work first and foremost.
Long ball downfield from Birmingham. At least they've ended their run of 3 successive away games without scoring. Haven't scored in their last 2, home or away either, Birmingham. Cleared up and away by Greaves, and it's one of those 7 changes made by Chris Davis that's got his first ever goal in English football. And he has looked good for Chente. The crowd reacting negatively. Stansfield outside the Ipswich area, blocked off by Greaves, might win it back, can't quite do that. It's very lively, very industrious. Dan Neil runs into trouble. Birmingham, a real spring in their step. Ipswich Town can't quite get it out. They've got it out to a point, but Demarai Gray's on the ball only after Clark had been fouled. It's really lifted Birmingham.
Yeah, it has, and it will do. You just can't approach a game like this. We've got it wrong. We've now really seriously got to step it up. That's a
handball by Stansfield as Neil and Matusiwa were almost caught out. Neil, ball forward towards Nunez, not good enough. Neumann steps in there. There'll be an almighty negative reaction at half-time if things stay as they are. Vicente looking forward to Priska. O'Shea's the red-hot favourite to get there first, and doesn't he? Turns it back to Walton, who won't be keeping that 14th clean sheet of the season today. Walton to Matusiwa. Matusiwa to Greaves. Lots of Birmingham players forward pressing. Kind of got out to a point, but only left back Johnson, who turns and clears up towards Hurst. Hurst against Neumann, still continue to have a good old battle. Neumann steps in there, ball goes out of play for a throw to Ipswich Town.
He's got a sort of battle on his hands, and the supporters should get with him. He's been selected to play in the team. Just go with him. Want him to beat the centre half in that situation, not be ready to have a go if he doesn't.
Oh, Kieran McKenna's calling back Anas Mehmeti to the bench. He's not going to make a change after 36 minutes, is he? He's also speaking to Jack Taylor, which would be an injury one. Taylor for Matusiwa. I would have thought, Matusiwa gets the ball forward to Nunez. Ipswich Town coming forward only to a point. Nunez has failed. Let's see, keeping an eye almost as much on the bench as on the game at the moment. Solis over the top for Stansfield to run after. Walton's come a long way out of his area. Got there, good goalkeeping. Read the situation to perfection. Yes, Mehmeti is coming on for Ipswich Town. Nunez been struggling, or is it something else he's seen out there, Kieran McKenna? He's certainly not coming on for Matusiwa, Mehmeti, anyway.
I think it might be Matusiwa.
I suppose it could be, couldn't it, with Nunez dropping in.
Change the midfield all round, Yeah. Everybody has a different job.
It could definitely be that Nunez sitting where Matusiwa is. Here is Furlong, and of course Town need goals. Nunez still at the moment playing in the number 10, possibly not for long there. There's Gray, who seems to have shaken off his head knock of earlier on, gets a long ball forward. Matusiwa been held on to by Mansfield, as blatant as you're ever going to see a shirt tug. Mansfield's appealing. Yellow card to Demarai Gray, I think that was, for kicking the ball away rather than Stansfield for the initial infringement. 8 minutes to go until half-time. Town behind. Lots of smiley faces at Millwall at the moment, if this were to stay like this, having already lost to Norwich at lunchtime. What a bonus that would be. Here is Neil running into Pike. Pike takes him out. Free kick to Ipswich Town. Pike being overly physical on Dan Neil. Free kick to Ipswich. It's a good 30 yards from goal, slightly left of centre. Here comes the change for Ipswich Town.
I don't think who it's going to be.
This is a problem for Town. Yeah, I would have thought Matusiwa as well. It'd be interesting if it's not, because if it is him, it's an injury. So he doesn't want to risk that getting any worse. Heaven forbid Town go to Carroll Road without Matusiwa. Yeah, he's going off. It's a rarity. only playing 38 minutes. Looks the right thing to do. I thought when he was getting strapped up so heavily inside the first 20 minutes. So Dan Neal's been brought across. He and Nunez will form a new midfield, one would have thought.
Yeah, he's got to do the disciplined role, the real sitting role. You know, he mustn't sort of get involved in any sort of forward play now. He's got to take over from Matasiwa, absolutely sort of to the mark, you know, and let the other two get on with it.
Goodness gracious me, I hope Matasiwa was all right for the weekend. Off he walks on this near side for treatment immediately. Town 1-0 behind, 39 minutes played. Marcelino Nunez on this free kick for Town, 30 yards from goal. Hits it against the wall, down goes a Birmingham player, and it goes on the far side. But the referee's just checking that Christopher is okay.
I wouldn't want to be in the wall when Nunez takes free kicks.
No.
Because you're actually odds-on favourite to be hit.
Here is Johnson. Of course, he scored the winner in the last Carrow Road derby from a free kick, just in the wrong net as far as we were concerned, Nunez. Hopefully history will repeat itself with him scoring for Town this coming weekend. He's certainly sitting deeper in midfield now that Matasiwa was off. Here is Neal through a little gap to Nunez. Nunez plays the ball against the referee. It was on its way towards Hurst.
What's the referee going to do now? Because I always used to believe that he was just a post on the pitch.
It goes back to the team in possession, so it's
too nice. The game's become too nice.
Yeah, it was either start of this season or start of last season that rule was brought in, so Town have got the ball, but it's obviously further back from where the pass would have ended up. Final 5 minutes of the first half on BBC Radio Suffolk. Vicente has given Birmingham the lead. Now it's Furlong near side, closed down by Gray. Ball comes in field to Neal. Neal up to McAteer. Now Nunez. Nunez picks out Clark with a good ball. Clark's immediately closed down by a couple of red shirts. He's got away from them, and a third one. Good play from Clark. Now outside the Birmingham area, a little ball into the box. Mehmeti goes down after a little trick. McAteer's battling for possession. Demarai Gray gives it to Panzer, who clears it partially. Only as far as Furlong. Furlong lifts it to the far post. Johnson! Off the line, no, that's surely gone in. Ben Johnson gets the equaliser. His first league goal of the season, and it's a biggie. He's been Town's best player in this first 41 minutes, the standing left back, and he's made the scoreline. Ipswich Town 1, Birmingham City 1.
Well, that's an interesting one. I'd like to see that again, because I'm not sure whether that's in. But they were silly, Birmingham. They allowed us to cross the ball, and it was a dangerous thing to do, and in the end they've had to pay very harshly for it.
It did look it. Let's see it again. Can't tell from that angle.
No.
The referee does get a signal on his watch, so these things are so scientific nowadays. But again, even this angle I'm seeing now doesn't say it conclusively. But Ipswich Town have got themselves level before half-time.
Cool. It's close. But the assistant referee was in the best position of all to see it, and I'm sure he signalled for it.
Good for Johnson's last goal, only goal previously this season, was at Bromley in the League Cup. Here's Vicente, who made it 1-0 to Birmingham inside the Ipswich Town area. Plays the square looking at Stansfield, cleared away well by Town up towards Hurst. Hurst gets the better of Neumann. Good play from Hurst, but Birmingham get bodies back and prevent the counter-attack. Solis is robbed by Hurst. That's a really good play by George Hurst. Nunez plays the ball against the chest of a Birmingham midfielder. Here's Pike on the ball, which he's thankfully not been too often in this first half, because he's a good player. Vicente down the line to Stansfield, trying to get the better of Greaves. He's got a cross in the end, headed away by Neal back inside his area. Birmingham reacting pretty well to the equalising goal from Town. But now the flag's up against offside. Free kick to Town in left back.
Well, that worked out nicely for us, didn't it? We didn't really have to work for that goal. It just came and it's got us back. You really sort of were more interested in see where the subs were going to sort of play and what sort of contribution they were going to make, you know, and then all of a sudden we've got an equaliser from absolutely nothing.
2 minutes to go of this first half on BBC Radio Suffolk. 1-1 as it was on the opening day of the season between these two sides. Mehmeti on for Matasiwa. Mehmeti obviously playing just in behind Hurst in the number 10. Neil's header back to Greaves. Now O'Shea has it. O'Shea forward towards Mehmeti. Mehmeti holds it up well. Played for Albania during the international break. Neil robbed too easily by Stansfield. He's complaining, Neil, there's nothing wrong with that, just poor play. Solis out to his right hand side of Samuel. Birmingham spring forward with Vicente up against Johnson, the 2 goal scorers. Way too much on that fired in cross from Vicente out behind goal kick to Walton.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at our sort of 3-man midfield just to really see Nunes is the one. I mean, we know Mehmeti's going to play in sort of the attacking role, but how close to Neil does Nunes sort of take his position? You know, is it going to be a 2 or is it going to be a 1 with 2 slightly further forward?
Final minute of this first half on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Our next full match commentaries from Carrow Road on Saturday lunchtime. Neumann for Birmingham clears to the forehead of Demarai Gray, tries to head it on to Priska. O'Shea gets the ball up to McAteer, who'll be relieved that goal has gone in for Johnson. Panzu, in goes McAteer on Panzu, gets it back to Nunez on the halfway line. Nunez up to Clark in a good position. Clark on towards Hurst, lovely play from down into the box to McAteer. Oh, that's a brilliant goal! Sensational goal from Ipswich Town. Lovely football, and look at the celebration from Casey McAteer. They cut Birmingham City to shreds, and he kept a cool head, slid it under Beadle, and Ipswich Town lead this game 2-1. That was a beauty.
That was a terrific goal. Not only the finish, and it's very important to McAteer, but the actual build-up was brilliant. It was Nunes's clever pass that started the whole thing. In the end, excellent goal. 2-1. Where did it come from? I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Shades of 2024 about that goal. Lovely to see that moment for Casey McAteer as well. We spoke ahead of the match whether he might have a big moment in him. We're certainly not suggesting that this game is all over by any means, but if that does turn out to be the winner, that'll do nicely for starters. He had been lively, missed that chance just before the opening goal, but he took that one really well, and the build-up was fabulous. That was a great goal from Ipswich Town as we head into added on time at the end of this first half, which from Ipswich Town's perspective has really sprung into life in the last few moments. 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes have turned a 1-0 deficit into what might well be a 2-1 half-time lead. Amongst all the excitement, 6 minutes actually, just looked up at the board. I was about to say I didn't see how much added on time there was, but we're 1 minute into added on 6. Birmingham with Solis. Mehmeti, good block on Pike. Here come Ipswich Town again. McAteer bursting down the right hand side. Mehmeti's held on to the ball too long. Eventually loses it. Neil in the centre circle. As Matusi was probably wondering what the noise is about in the dressing room. Good ball forward from Furlong. Mehmeti's onside inside the area. Pulls it back. Off of Pike it goes. Corner kick to Town, who fancy another one before the break.
Yeah, they're actually flowing now, you know, and it's Birmingham who are looking a bit sort of bewildered by it, really. They must have been thinking they were on the way to a really good sort of half-time lead. They've been knocked for 6 twice, and, you know, and we're really enjoying things.
Finally, much more like it. Town up to second in the live table. Into the 3rd minute of the added on 6 at the end of this first half. Marcelino Nunez on this corner kick for Ipswich Town. Greedy for more goals at Portman Road. In comes the corner from Nunez. Free header from Hurst at the goalkeeper. Comfortable take for Beadle. Beadle with a quick kick trying to get Priska goal side of Johnson. Out comes Walton. Walton takes it away from the pair of them and launches it left-footed downfield in the vague direction of McAteer, but Panzer's header finds Pike. Pike wafts his left boot at the ball, goes straight onto the chest of Greaves, who finds Neil. Nunez back to O'Shea. You can see what it meant for McAteer's teammates as well, that 3rd goal of the game. Absolutely delighted for a very popular member of the squad. Greaves to Clark. Again, centrally, he had a hand in the goal as well, Clark. Nunez goes back 2-0. 3 minutes of the first half to go. O'Shea, good ball up to Clark rather than Hurst. Clark out to the right-hand side. McAteer wanting it in the box as Mehmeti. He's got it. Mehmeti into the middle, saved by Beadle. And clutched at the second attempt as Hurst ran into him. A little bit of afters. Beadle complaining to the referee about the challenge of Hurst, but the referee's just telling him to calm down. George has rattled him.
How do you restart a game when a goalkeeper makes a decision for you? I don't really understand that.
Good noise inside Portman Road. Their team lead by 2-1. The referee wanting a word with George Hurst.
The referee's just called George Hurst and said, the goalkeeper has just told me.
Yeah.
And now he's sort of...
You've been a bit naughty.
He's going by what the goalkeeper has told him. He hasn't seen a thing.
George has went, no, I didn't. He's made that up.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all finished. 4 minutes gone if he added on 6. Town were behind, now they lead. Beadle, right-footed. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Prisco with a good head onto Vicente. Vicente gets the ball out to the left-hand side, and Gray hasn't really had a chance to run with the ball. Gray, that's what he's trying to do now. Can't get the better of McAteer. Well done, Casey McAteer. Now Mehmeti on the near side rolls the ball onto the challenge of Panzo, and out it goes for an Ipswich Town throw. It's going to be Darnell Furlong who takes it, although he can't take it until O'Shea swept out the first ball off the field of play. There'll be a different noise when the half-time whistle goes compared to what there would have been ahead of those goals from Johnson and McAteer. Two very unlikely goal scorers. Doesn't matter who scores them though, as long as they're in the opposition net. Greaves with a chest down, runs into trouble though, hoisted forward by Solis. Johnson gets the better of Priska, on from Greaves. Neumann will get there ahead of Mehmeti and just help it on its way back to Beadle. Beadle first time, right footer straight down the pitch. With a twist to the neck, O'Shea guides his header back to Walton.
Yeah, good defending, really good. Sometimes they're difficult balls to deal with those, but you've got to make the right decision and just execute it correctly like O'Shea did.
Well, Town 2-1 up. Another one lost by that scoreline to Norwich at lunchtime. Left-footed forward from Walton. Hurst challenges, headed away though by his marker Neumann. Vicente brings it down on the far touchline, number 23. Back to the halfway line, and Solis is blown up against. It's an Ipswich Town free kick on the halfway line, right at the end of this first half. According to my watch, we've played the added on 6 minutes. Town are going to go down the tunnel with the lead in the very near future. Greaves with the free kick for Ipswich Town. Forward it goes out to this right hand side, and McAteer touches it back towards Mehmeti. Mehmeti in turn gives it back to Furlong on halfway, and available as O'Shea. That's a half-time whistle, which is greeted by positivity in the Ipswich Town supporting ranks. Their sides come from behind to lead Birmingham City by 2-1 at the break.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody in the stadium would be able to give a real good reason why that changed so dramatically. There wasn't really any evidence of it happening at all. We started slow, we started poorly. We weren't sort of applying, we weren't playing quick enough, decisively enough. Birmingham started to enjoy it a little bit. They managed to get themselves in front, and then you did sort of slightly fear the worst. You certainly felt that it was going to go into the dressing room 1-0 down. Matasiwa came off after having sort of nursed a problem for a long time, and that wasn't really going to sort of be a nice thing to see, for the team to be losing 1-0, not playing very well, and a player who's been highly successful for the season coming off. Before the new permutation in the midfield was able to take shape, all of a sudden we've scored an equaliser. We scored a goal that takes us in front, and Birmingham then are sort of all over the place. They're starting to sort of have a go at each other. They're having a go at the referee. And instead of the Blues going into the dressing room in a bit of a mess, you've now got Birmingham going into the dressing room, where I'm pretty sure there's going to be some strong words in there, because they've been gifted a lead. They haven't taken advantage of it. They've allowed that lead to disappear. We've scored 2 good goals, but you just wonder, where did it come from? I don't know. I don't think anybody sitting in the stadium knew why there was such a rise all of a sudden in sort of performance level, because it was over such a short period of time. It just basically happened, you know. But now the important part of the game now is how well do the 3 players in the centre of midfield play. I think our back 4, you know, if they just get their minds on the job, they can take care of this Birmingham attack all right. I think we've got enough in the front areas. You know, McAteer is going better. I think he's playing against somebody who's not particularly very good at playing at left fullback, so that'll help him. We know what Jack Clark can do, and if he doesn't do it, we've got Philogene who can come on to do it. And then for me, it's the centre of midfield. We've got an unusual combination in there. They're all talented players. They all can do it individually. They have now got to do it collectively for possibly the first time as a unit. They haven't been together before. They've got to get it right immediately. If they do, we could go on and win this game, you know, with a 2-goal advantage or even a 3-goal advantage. But it's down to those 3 players for me.
Yeah, heck of an opportunity for Ipswich Town in this second half. Birmingham already looks like they're going to bring on Ethan Laird at half-time. He's out there stripped in all red. He's a full-back, either right-sided or left-sided. He's going to have to try and get his side back into this game. They led, but thanks to goals from Johnson and McAteer. McAteer's was a terrific goal. Ipswich Town lead this game 2-1.
And as Brenna mentioned, in the live league table, Town up to second on goal difference from Millwall in third, and have 2 games in hand still. There's some interesting games in the Championship this evening from 5:30. Middlesbrough currently 4th away at Swansea. Leaders Coventry are away at Hull in an 8 o'clock kickoff. Earlier today, Portsmouth 2, Oxford 2 and Millwall 1, Norwich 2 at the Den. On the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Blackburn and West Brom are goalless. Bristol City have a 1-0 lead at home to Sheffield United. 0-0 between Derby and Stoke, and Preston and QPR also goalless at Vicarage, Watford and Charlton. But there has been a goal at Hillsborough, and it's Sheffield Wednesday who lead Leicester City 1-0. In League One this afternoon, Lincoln are 1-0 up away at Reading. If it stays like that, point to have promotion to the Championship confirmed this afternoon, but currently on course for all 3. Lincoln 1 up away at Reading. Women's FA Cup quarter-finals continue through to the last 4. They've beaten Tottenham by 2-1 at 5 o'clock. Birmingham City and Manchester City get underway. We will go around the grounds locally in just a moment, following a couple of all-county clashes this afternoon in both the Southern Premier League and Isthmian North Division. We'll also have some Speedway during our half-time break. We'll hear from Ipswich Witches co-promoter Richard Coleman ahead of Thursday's season opener against Kings Lynn at Vauxhall.
We're on the lookout for young poets to help open this year's Latitude Festival. To celebrate the festival's 20th year, we're after poems on the theme of generations. The competition's running across the 6 BBC local stations in the East, with 1 finalist chosen for each. Every finalist gets a family ticket to Latitude and the chance to perform their poem on the waterfront stage. So if you're 7 to 11 years old and live in or go to school in Suffolk, Norfolk, Cambridgeshire, Essex, Northamptonshire, Beds, Herts or Bucks, why not have a go? For full details and how to enter, head to bbc.co.uk/latitude poetry, where you can also see full terms and our privacy notice. Entries close Friday the 24th of April at midday.
You're with Matchday on BBC Radio Suffolk. Ipswich Town have come from a goal down to lead Birmingham City 2-1 at half-time. Full second half commentary on the way from Portman Road. A couple of all-county clashes this afternoon on the non-league front. Leicester 0, Bury Town 3 is a half-time scoreline at Victory Road. Eden Hannigan's at the Elite Travel Stadium this afternoon watching AFC Sudbury at home to Needham Market. Eden.
Yeah, it's half-time here and it's AFC Sudbury 1, Needham Market 2. You could certainly feel the tension around these parts in this first half. A lively start saw 2 goals in the first 8 minutes, but it's Needham Market who head into the break in front thanks to 2 goals from top scorer Luke Ingram. Despite the Marketmen having the better of the first half, it was actually AFC Sudbury who got off to the perfect start, because it was them who took the lead in just the 3rd minute. Tezo Marcel Delander did well to win back possession in the centre circle and passed it out to Liam Pearce on the left-hand side. The winger rang and rang, wrong-footed his defender and slotted it into the far corner to give Sudbury the lead in what was exactly the start they were looking for. However, it would not last long at all. 8 minutes into the match, Suds keeper Jack Munson collided with former teammate Marcel Lewis in what looked to be a rash challenge. Lewis was injured and had to be substituted, and referee Richard Baker was left with no choice but to award a penalty. As I said, Marketman top scorer Luke Ingram stepped up to take the spot kick and nestled it into the bottom left-hand corner to make it 1-1 with his first goal of the afternoon. And to be honest, after that, most of the chances actually fell. 18 minutes saw an effort from Jacob Goredema saved by James Bradbrook. The resulting corner saw a header from Jack Stone trickle wide of the post. A few moments and a couple more corners later, an acrobatic effort from Kyron Clements was easily saved in 3 good chances for Sudbury. However, from the half-hour mark onwards, Needham Market looked to be the better side, and in the 55th minute, they made it 2-1. Some good play on the right side from Joe Neal and Miles Townley threaded the ball into the Sudbury box. The pair found Ingram again, and he wasn't missing from that close a range. He fired his shot from the centre of the box past Munson and into the back of the net for his second of the afternoon. That was how it stayed for the remainder of this first half. It has been an even game in terms of possession, to be honest, but Needham Market just looked that bit more clinical going forward. There have been some positives for Sudbury, though. They've spread the play well, and they have been able to create a couple of chances. Marcel Delander was forced off with an injury just before half-time. However, they look defensively fragile when Needham Market come forward, and the fans around me have gotten more and more agitated as this first half wore on. They know that Netter team needs to figure something out in the second half, otherwise they will be playing in Step 4 next season. And it's just gone around the stadium that Stamford are winning in their home match to Corn. So a goal or two would go some way in lifting the crowd around here, even if relegation may be confirmed at the end of today's result. Because at the end of this first 35, it's AFC Sudbury 1, Needham Market 2.
So Needham Market ahead, Bury Town ahead at Leiston 3-0 in the Isthmian North Division. Newmarket Town lead Redbridge 1-0. Mildenhall Town 1-up at home to Downham Town. Brantham Athletic a goalless away at Brightlingsea Regent. Let's go to the Martello ground next. Nick Garnham watching Felixstowe Walter United, title chasing Felixstowe Walter United at home to relegation threatened Lowestoft Town.
It's Felixstowe Walter United 1, Lowestoft Town 0, and a Dan Goldkist goal after 19 minutes separates the sides at the halfway mark. However, the visitors, buoyed by successive victories in their last 2 games, have shown enough going forward in the first half to suggest that they could still get something out of this match. Jose Santa de La Paz should have put the Seasides ahead after 10 minutes, but shot wide when through one-on-one with just the keeper to beat. The home team did get in front 9 minutes later when Josh Mayhew flicked the ball into the path of Gilchrist, and although Ben Self got both hands above his head to take the sting out of the striker's dipping volley, the ball dropped down behind him and over the goal line. It was almost 2-0 3 minutes later when Noel Aikins shaped to shoot but instead cleverly beat a defender before letting fly with a left foot effort that hit the outside of the right-hand post. Sam Howell then produced some neat footwork to create space for a shot at the other end, but it was safely gathered by Harry Wright. Santa de La Paz saw a shot deflected wide just before the break, so at half-time at the Martello ground, the score was Felixstowe Walter United 1, Lowestoft Town 0.
Thank you, Nick. I mentioned we're going to hear from Richard Coleman, Ipswich Witches co-promoter, during our half-time break. We're now going to bring you him in the final half hour of today's programme from 5:30. We'll also hear from Witches captain Danny King as well. Heard from Scott Nichols earlier in the programme, looking ahead to Thursday's season opener at Foxhall Stadium against Kings Lynn Stars in the Knockout Cup. Let's get some reaction from one of today's lunchtime kick-offs in the Championship, and this This was a comeback victory for Norwich away at promotion-chasing Millwall. Millwall 1, Norwich 2 is how it finished at the Den. Here is the Millwall boss, Alex Neil.
I don't think first half we did well enough. I thought, obviously, we lost Billy prior to the game, which was a big blow for us. With Casper, who just came back from injury, so again he played far longer than what we wanted from him today, and I'm worried about breaking him down, because if he breaks down we're going to be missing both of them, which is not good. And then I think we knew that I thought the Sam Field would come in to try and block up the two big lads and stop us from going more direct. If that's the case, then we need to make extra passes in the back line. We just didn't do it well enough in the first half. Norwich, we turned the ball over too cheaply. And yeah, I had to do something at half time to try and get us a foothold in the game. Norwich had created the better chances, and it looked like a matter of time before they get the first goal. So changed it at half time, went 2 up top. The one thing I did concern myself with was the energy in the middle of the pitch. We put so much into Middlesbrough, and if you look at the second goal, we got run off in the middle area, and that's what cost us the game.
Alex Neil speaking after Millwall 1, Norwich 2. So like we say, Town on course to go second in the Championship table. Second half from Portman Road is next.
Ipswich Town win the ball high up the pitch. A chance for McAteer! Over the bar from just inside the area. Hit it with all of his might, but just got under it too much, and it flew into Mr. Ralph Ramsey's stand. Good chest trapped down by Hurst to McAteer. McAteer goes round Neumann. McAteer has to score! Saved by Beadle! Oh, but he's got to put that in! McAteer was clear. It was terrific play from him initially, but he's then got to find the net. It was a good save from Beadle, a very good save, but what an opportunity missed for Town to go 1-0 up. Here come Birmingham. Stansfield, ball into the area, travel distance, Vicente makes it 1-0 to Birmingham. That's how you finish. That is how you score a goal. Ipswich Town 0, Birmingham City 1, just seconds after McAteer wasted an almighty chance for Ipswich Town. Birmingham have made their fans sing. It's Ipswich Town 0, Birmingham City 1. McAteer's battling for possession. Demarai Gray gives it to Panzer, who clears it partially, only as far as Furlong. Furlong lifts it to the far post. Johnson! Off the line, no, that's surely gone in. Ben Johnson gets the equaliser. His first league goal of the season, and it's a biggie. He's been Town's best player in this first 41 minutes, the standing left back, and he's made the scoreline Ipswich Town 1, Birmingham City 1. Johnson, Panzu, in goes McAteer on Panzu, gets it back to Nunez on the halfway line. Nunez up to Clark in a good position. Clark on towards Hurst. Lovely play from Town, into the box to McAteer! Oh, that's a brilliant goal! Sensational goal from Ipswich Town. Lovely football, and look at the celebration from Casey McAteer. They cut Birmingham City to shreds, and he kept a cool head, slid it under Beadle, and Ipswich Town lead this game 2-1. That was a beauty.
On BBC iPlayer. If you're not the beautiful one, or the ones that are good at games and full of youthful energy, then who are you?
Starring Ruth Jones and Richard E. Grant.
I told you no one would marry you if you wore spectacles.
The Other Bennett Sister. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
You're with Match Day on BBC Radio Suffolk. Gordon from Stonham has sent us a message saying, great so far. I'm at work and hoping it's not going to be a game of two halves like every other week. Let's get back to Portman Road with Town 2-1 up at home to Birmingham City. We're all set for the second half. Let's rejoin Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley.
12 footballers out there. Ipswich Town's 11's been out for probably at least 90 seconds, if not 2 minutes, and still Ethan Laird, who I mentioned just before Mick wrapped up at the end of the first half, is going to be brought on as a sub for Birmingham. No sign of what will be his 10 colleagues whatsoever, so I don't know what's happened with them. Ipswich Town warming up in the half off to my right at the moment. Off to the left, it's Laird and a fair few stewards with their pitchforks. Finally, out come the rest of the boys in red, led out by their captain, Clara. Town are going to resume this game with the 11 they ended that first half, but not the 11 they started the game with. They lost Matu Siwa with what looked like some kind of thigh hamstring problem in that first half. Mehmeti came on for him, with Nunez dropping into a deeper role in midfield. Mehmeti obviously playing the 10. So Walton will be between the posts off to our right. His back four: Furlong, O'Shea, Greaves and Johnson. Then you got Nunez alongside Neil, the three of McAteer, who scored that terrific goal. Now Mehmeti and Clark in behind Hurst. On the bench, Palmer, Kipre, Eggley, Kayuste, Taylor, Baggett, Akpom and Philogene. Just waiting to see who Laird is replacing for Birmingham City, and indeed if he is the only change, I think it might be another change. Tomoki is also coming on for them by the looks of things. Tomoki can either play right back or in midfield. Very versatile player, the Japanese. It's interesting that Kieran McKenna went straight to Ethan Laird and shook his hand a few moments ago. They know each other from their time together at Old Trafford. He came through at Manchester United. Laird. Could be Pike, might be the player that's going to make way for Tomoki. For the moment, Laird's kind of disappeared out of view. Let's see what the changes are for Birmingham. Their team at the start of the game, I'll give you alterations in a moment, it was Beadle in goal, the back four, Vasey, Samuel, Neumann, Clara and Panzo. Then it was Pike alongside Solis, the three of Vicente, the goal scorer, Stansfield and Gray. And up front was Priska. On the bench, Allsop, Laird, Robinson, Tomoki, Doyle, Roberts, Kanya, Osman and Duksh as the second half gets underway here at Portman Road. Priska fouls Greaves, free kick at the back for Ipswich Town. So let's see, it's still the same back four. Tomoki has come on certainly for Pike, and after all of that Laird hasn't come on, so maybe a last second change from Chris Davis. Osei Samuel to this near side and Vicente, who made it 1-0. Scored earlier on this season in La Liga against Real Madrid. Vicente actually got 10 goals in Spanish football for Alaves earlier on this season. So scored at the Bernabeu and Portman Road in the same season. Here is Osei Samuel throwing the ball down this touchline, nodded down by Greaves. It ping-pongs around a bit. Priska infield to Stansfield. In comes the challenge of Neil. Priska then out to the near side. Town incidentally in blue, white, blue, playing from right to left against the all red of Birmingham. Birmingham in their changed kits, of course. Here is O'Shea rolling the ball up to McAteer, the match winner as things stand. Now it's with Greaves at centre half for Ipswich Town, but I think they could extend their advantage at some stage. Given away by Hurst. In steps Tomoki. Tomoki back on the ball. Say Samuel down the line to Vicente, just about keeps the ball in play. Clark finding a little gap and slotting the ball back to Dan Neal, who demands it back off O'Shea. Neal up towards Clark. Clark with a little touch to Mehmeti. Mehmeti shields the ball against the challenge of Neumann, and he goes down. The Albanian free kick Ipswich.
Yeah, it's been an untidy start by both teams, really, and that was a little bit of a untidy decision, I think, from the referee as well. Nunez gives the ball away. Gray can't collect it for Birmingham, which is a relief. It's gone out of play directly for a throw to Birmingham. It's very funny, bizarre that Laird hasn't come on, having gone out to warm up in his kit at the start of the interval and hovering on the near touchline, all set to come on, but in the end he hasn't. Clara, after a comedy of errors on halfway, gets on the ball. People seem to be ducking and dodging the ball left, right and centre. Gray down the left-hand touchline to Stansfield, trying to get his cross in, which is deflected towards the near post. Vicente, good block from Greaves. Passed out defensively by Neal. Free kick for Ipswich Town, possibly a handball by Tomoki. Ipswich Town ball on the edge of their penalty area. Afterwards, you'll say very welcome. It's normal Saturday hours, if you like, on match day. We're on air till 6 o'clock this bank holiday Monday. 0800 141 2121. If you want to have a chat to Graham and Mick, or text 81333. Start those messages SFK. WhatsApp's 08000 321 333. Start those SFK. Stansfield down the right-hand side outside the Ipswich area. In comes his cross deep towards the far post. The diving, dramatic header out behind was by Furlong, because he did have Gray behind him. Corner Birmingham. Yeah, it looked dramatic, but it had to be done. There was the Gray was behind him. You know, that was a poorly hit cross, really. You know, we allowed them to cross the ball, which was the bad thing, you know, and then the cross really wasn't going anywhere. Corner kick to Birmingham. 3.5 minutes gone in the second half. Trying to draw level, having led initially in this game, and it comes from the former Everton player Gray, headed away well by Greaves of Ipswich, out as far as Vicente on this near side. The Birmingham right wants to try and get the better of Clark, which he's managed to do. Drill the ball in, headed away again by Greaves, so strong in the air. Tomoki with a strike, hit his own player. Can
McAteer get away. He runs into Say Samuel. No foul, says the referee. Looked to have got that one right. No complaints from Kieran McKenna anyway. Here come Birmingham. Too much on that pass for Panzo. And it's into the grasp of Walton. If McAteer still down on the far side, just been nursed by Philip Neumann. Only yellow card, incidentally, in that first half was for Demarai Gray. Walton goes long. Neumann gets the better of Hurst. Nunez takes the ball in his chest, tries to play it through to McAteer. McAteer's inside the Birmingham area. He shoots, and he pulls it just wide. He's having a good afternoon. Playing well, Casey McAteer. He's been very lively.
Well, basically, it was an awful pass from Nunez. It should never, ever have got to McAteer, but it did, and it was a dangerous situation, and he wasn't very far away from that far post, but there is some really poor football out there today, believe you me.
Yeah, I thought Panzer might have been replaced by Laird. Laird tends to play right back, that's his favourite position, but he's been playing left back a fair old bit for Birmingham this season, so when he was stripped and ready, in fact now he is belatedly about to come on. This is a very random timing of this change. No surprise whatsoever that Laird is finally going to play in this game. Not sure why it didn't happen 5 minutes ago at the start of the half, really. Panzer again was caught, as Mick was just summarising there. It's going to be a double change for Birmingham, in fact. Two players about to enter the fray as they try to salvage something from this game. 10 in second place on goal difference. And still with games in hand on Millwall. Of course, one of those games in hand is a week tomorrow at Fratton Park. After the derby on Saturday. Town have got a man down on the far side. It's a free kick. Which Gray and Tomoki are over. Pike, who's a player I like a lot, was very much off colour in that first half. Not a big surprise that he was replaced by Tomoki at half-time. Osman is the other player coming on for Birmingham. Birmingham free kick far side. Demarai Gray dinks it up towards the edge of the Ipswich area. No further than that. Up goes Clara, dealt with by Greaves. The ball pops out to Vicente. Vicente gives it to Solis, who's caught late by Clark, appealing for the decision, not given. Nunez challenges Vicente. Clipped forward by Johnson. I say Samuel's got a good head start, and he tidies up with the ball back to Beadle. Beadle high in the air to the centre circle, touched down by Neil, but only to Clara. Clara along the floor to Gray, who waits for the ball to arrive. Now he can have a run at Darnell Furlong, the right back. Gray still got the ball, edge of the area, wide left outside the Ipswich box, tries to get it into the centre. McAteer is there to bring away the rebound and comes off his shin pads and into touch.
Well, I'm not quite what's done it, but the game, Birmingham managed to push this game very much up to the sort of town end, and it's been for a longish period as well. So they're actually sort of dominating territorially, if not the actual game.
Birmingham with Priska diving in to try to win the challenge against Greaves. Greaves got there first, and the Dane's hurt. Clark down this left-hand side has the final touch. I say Samuel just shields it out of play for a throw. Birmingham have it again with Asay Samuel, the Nigerian, challenged by Clark. Out it goes for a free kick. Tomoki loops it up towards Dara O'Shea, who cushions it down for Neil. Neil goes all the way back to Walton. O'Shea behind right back over in the far corner, clears it, not very well, straight to Tomoki. Tomoki to Vicente, making a run as Stansfield. He points to where he wants the ball. He's got it down the right channel, plays it across the face of goal, well held by Walton, stretching the cut out the cross. That was good goalkeeping. Nunez to Clark. Birmingham doing well at the moment and win the ball back. Nunez, he passes it to Mehmeti. I haven't seen the two of them on the field too often in blue, Nunez and Mehmeti. Playing a good, well, possibly 3/4 of this game as a pair today, though. As Clark goes back to Greaves. Full match commentary of the Norwich game on Saturday lunchtime. We're on air from 11:30 with match date. An hour's worth of build-up for that one. Greaves, ball forward to Hurst. Flag stayed down on the far side. Hurst's got the ball wide on the left. Rides the challenge of Neumann, gives it back to Clark, back to Hurst inside the Birmingham area, has the ball taken away from him by Asay Samuel, and it trickles back to Beadle, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, still no fluency there. I'm sort of trying desperately to just see our midfield three. They're not actually working very well together at the moment, and I do feel that they're the key to whether we will dominate this game or not.
Birmingham on the left-hand side with Panzo looking up before crossing into the Ipswich area, headed down and away by O'Shea, measured it well to Furlong. Furlong's clearance bounces off Panzo, so he's in the spot to bother Furlong, and in the end has to clear out into the Birmingham crowd over on the far side. Looks like they've filled most of their complement. Birmingham down the left, infield it goes to Gray, back to the centre spot, Neumann. Now Osman, a Ghanaian midfielder on loan from Brighton, is about to come on with Ethan Laird. Chance from Nunez into the back of Tomoki. There's a clip by Neil on Solis. Neil's gone down in a lot of pain. The referee's brought back play for that challenge by Neil. Tried to let the advantage roll Birmingham's way, but it didn't.
Yeah, I didn't really see. I was watching the progression of the play and I missed the actual challenge.
Yeah, it's no big surprise. It looked a fair shout from the referee. Laird is coming on for Panzo, and the other change is Gray going off. Hasn't done a great deal, it has to be said. And Osman will come on, kind of like for like. Ibrahim Osman, player that Brighton paid £16 million to attract from Danish football. Had loans at Feyenoord and Auxerre in the past. Osman has been a fairly regular starter of late, one of those rested, one of the many rested after the game on Friday. Chris Davis, understandably, feeling his side can still get something from this match. Vicente over this free kick, which is what, 6-7 yards inside Ipswich Town's half of the field. Town have got a very high line. Vicente in all red dinks it over the top of that back line towards Neumann. Again, good work in there from a Town centre half. This time O'Shea, but it's a free kick to Ipswich Town. It seemed to come off O'Shea's head and go out behind, but it's an Ipswich Town ball.
Yeah, I think the referee gave a
O'Shea was maybe getting a little nudge in the back. Here on the near side is Johnson. Johnson down the line finds Clark. Clark wriggles between a couple of players. In flies the challenge of Stansfield. Out goes the ball underneath us, next to Kieran McKenna.
This is really unbelievably untidy for a game, and also I don't think we're doing this deliberately, inviting them on, because that's not our style at all. It's just the game has taken it into our half on a pretty permanent basis.
It's another throw-in underneath us that Bright Asay Samuel is going to be taking for Birmingham City as the wind picks up at Portman Road. Thrown down this touchline, headed away by Greaves, up towards Hurst. Mehmeti held up by Tomoki, goes down. Kieran McKenna doing the work of the referee's assistant near side, signalling it's a throw the way of his side. That's going to be taken by Johnson. Number 18 gets it short to Neil. Neil forward to Asay Samuel. Up to Priska. Priska with a flick on header. O'Shea's almost made a mess of it, just gets it back to Walton. Walton hits it high in there, it's really messy. Furlong could have got in his way after all of that. Vicente tries to bring it down, cleared away by Neil. Hurst can't quite get the better of Asay Samuel. Birmingham roll it back via Neumann to their goalkeeper Beadle. Town crowd trying to get behind their team. It's really scruffy at the moment. But at least Ipswich Town have that slender 2-1 lead.
I thought Walton could have picked the ball up because I don't think it was a deliberate back pass.
There's a wrestling match going on between O'Shea and Stansfield. O'Shea got the better and then picked up Stansfield. There's a live wire, Jay Stansfield.
At the moment, Dan Neil hasn't really picked up that Matasiwa role. He's not actually... We're not really being able to bounce the ball off of him like we do with Matasiwa, so that's sort of gone missing. Nunez is not really sort of getting himself in the game. Consequently, we can't get any decent pass to any one of the four forwards.
Such a big player for Town, as Matasiwa. I'm thinking of Saturday, and the potential of being without him. Headed forward by Furlong, clipped up in the air by Clara towards Priska, beaten by Greaves. Greaves again so commanding aerially. Neumann with the ball at his feet in the centre circle, finds a gap, gets it to Vicente. One touch to the right hand side to say Samuel. This game far from done and dusted. Back it goes to Tomoki, and it has to be a Town win. Laird gets the better of McAteer. He's a good player, Ethan Laird. In comes the cross from the left-hand side from Osman, chested forward by Asay. Samuel, the right back, was in the central striking area and didn't really know what to do with it.
No, he didn't. I mean, why didn't he just sort of put his head on the ball and divert it towards Christian Walton and just hope that it finds a corner?
He'd have had a great chance of heading in there had he done that. Laird knees it back to Beadle. Beadle again. Didn't take any prisoners. Clatters his clearance to halfway. O'Shea with a very strong header. And back it goes to James Beadle.
We need another huddle.
That's definitely what's needed. 30 minutes to go in this game. Headed away by Furlong on the far side. Infield from McAteer. The crowd reacting negatively. Not happy with what they're seeing from their team at the moment. Understandably being a bit edgy and fearing this one. These 3 points could slip away from them, or at least 2 of them. The layoff from Priska finds Osman. Osman want to take on McAteer. It's out of play for a throw to Birmingham. Laird, the now left back, is going to be taking it. Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come as well before 6 o'clock, and hopefully those of an Ipswich Town player on BBC Radio Suffolk. Laird with a throw-in for Birmingham. It's 2-1 to Town on BBC Radio Suffolk. In it comes to Walton's penalty area. Headed away comfortably by O'Shea as far as Laird. Laird, a little flick round the corner to Solis. Solis gets the better of McAteer inside the Ipswich area. Shoot saved by Walton on his near post, as you would expect. Either the deflection or some kind of weird bobble to trouble Walton from that angle.
Yeah, they just sort of managed to get a little bit of daylight. It was a decent cross shot. Keeper wasn't really too worried about it, but I'm worried about them dominating us territorially.
Greaves up to Hurst on halfway. Hurst to the left-hand side and the free-running Johnson. Johnson's got to the edge of the Birmingham area. In comes his cross. The ball comes as far as Hurst. His shot's way off target. Needed to open up his body and try and side-foot it to the far side, but at least it's come off a Birmingham defender, and he's got down their first corner of the second half.
Yeah, and it's got us up at the north stand end, which is where we want to be for the majority of the second half. You know, why we've been defending, you know, the south stand end so deeply and so regularly in the second half, I don't know.
Clark on this corner kick for Ipswich Town. 62 minutes played this bank holiday Monday. Can Ipswich Town for the first time open up a 2-goal advantage and strengthen their grip on second place in the championship table. They lead Birmingham 2-1. Clark with the delivery deep beyond the far post, headed away by Osman as Nunez set himself for the volley, nodded on by Laird. Going after it is Stansfield. Stansfield wants to take on Mehmet. He'll have to do it all on his own, Jay Stansfield. Could never get the ball out from under his feet, really, and he's dragged it over the white line for a Town throw.
Yeah, but as far as he's concerned, he's done his job. He's taken the play. You know, the throw-in now is 15 yards inside the Town sort of defensive half, so he's done his job.
Hurst against Clara, far side. Hurst done very well, has kept the ball in. McAteer, poor from him, straight towards Osman. McAteer's won it back, good play. Here is Greaves in the sunshine, rolling the ball to shade underneath us. Johnson, down this left touchline is Clark, couldn't go forward, gives it to Johnson. Johnson plays it back to Clark, excellent play between those two. Now it's to Mehmeti, edge of the area, can he sort out his feet? He gets into the D, and his pass is just away from McAteer, who's in a good shooting position had it been weighted a bit better. Back it goes to the far side, and Furlong. Lovely sunny afternoon, the crowd getting behind Ipswich Town. Greaves takes on Stansfield, gets it up towards Clark. Johnson digs a ball in field looking for Hurst, cleared away by Neumann, up towards Priska. Priska with a decent layoff to Stansfield. Stansfield has to wriggle away from a couple of challenges. Tripped by Nunez, says the referee. Free kick.
Yeah, I can't really sort of work out why we're sort of not actually in complete control of this game, because we're 2-1 in front. We are without doubt a better side than Birmingham, but we can't take any real control of it.
Here is Beadle. Guess maybe Matthew Seawer's absence is one of the reasons, perhaps. 64 gone then. Still 2-1 as it was at half-time. Neumann's header and Fields dealt with again by the forehead of Greaves. In it comes the Ipswich area from Tomoki. Furlong looked as if he got a shout, and then it's touched out behind by Osman for a goal kick to Christian Walton.
Okay, that's job done. Now we've got possession of the ball. Now let's sort of progress. Let's see if we can work the ball out. I assume we're going to still go short without Matasu there. You know, we've just got to start believing that we can play the way that we've been taught.
Walton, live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Ipswich Town 2, Birmingham City 1. Town trying to see a huge win over the line. Clark tried to dummy the ball. Asay Samuel read it. Attempts the cross, blocked off by Nunez. Nunez playing a deeper role in midfield since Matthew went off. If you weren't with us in the first half, Mehmeti came on and went in front of him. And Neil Clark challenge on Asay Samuel. Hurst bursting forward for Ipswich Town, who are 4-on-2 to his right hand side. He's got Mehmeti to his left, he's got Clark, he's found Clark inside the Birmingham area on his right foot. The moment might have gone, he's gone down just inside the box. No penalty this time. He's won a few this season, but the referee was in a great position. Birmingham have the ball on halfway with Solis. Wrong pass from Solis. Should have gone towards Vicente, looked for Priska, and in the way was Greaves, who had a very good game at centre-half, Jacob Greaves. Nunez up to Hurst. That's a better first touch from the Scotsman. Neal through the middle to Mehmeti. Mehmeti waits for the ball to arrive now inside the box, but the flag's gone up. He missed the target anyway, but it wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, he just went a fraction early. I saw his run, looked over to the linesman, and he was going to definitely pull him up for that. So there's a little bit of brightness there with our play, but we've got to have an awful lot more of that.
21 minutes played in the second half. It's Beadle with this free kick. Forward it comes. 24 minutes to go. High boot against the face of Jacob Greaves from Priska. And if he'll make way at some stage, Priska, Dutch is on the bench. He'd be the obvious choice to bring on. Dutch is on very well his first season in English football. 11 goals for him. He's been first choice striker for Birmingham. Ball forward down the right hand side for McAteer. Just swings away from him, favours Neumann. Neumann's touch takes the ball out of play. Town have gained a lot of ground. They've got to throw it outside the Birmingham area. As Chris Davis just sits down and looks at his screen down below us. He was with Brendan Rodgers for a long time. That's kind of his history at Swansea, Liverpool, Celtic and Leicester. Also had a spell at Tottenham under Ange Postecoglou, Chris Davis, before he went it alone and got his first managerial job in the West Midlands. What a job he did last season. Here is Furlong with a throw-in for Ipswich Town, and it comes to the Birmingham area at 2-1, headed away by Laird to the edge of the box. Kept alive by Mehmeti. Now Nunez getting into the box, right of centre. Can't shoot, would have to cross. Couldn't do anything with it in the end. Birmingham bring it away with Solis galloping up towards the halfway line, the Colombian. He's got runners in front of him. Solis has continued this run and then just put too much on it for Stansfield, who was being marshalled by Dan Neal anyway. It's out behind.
Yeah, I can see the pass that he wanted to play, which would have been really productive if he could have done it, but I didn't think he had much chance of doing it. Percentage-wise, go wide, go to the left-hand side where he got a free player. He can put it in the box.
Town have the ball wide on the right-hand side with Furlong. So back-to-back away games for Town after this one, at Norwich on Saturday, and then Portsmouth a week tomorrow. The third time of asking. Nick and myself will hopefully be at Fratton Park. They got a late draw against Oxford in their relegation battle at lunchtime. Andre Dezal with a late equaliser for Portsmouth, who played a lot of that game with 10 men. It's Furlong with this throw-in for Ipswich up towards Hurst. Hurst's layoff is out of play on the far side.
I think George Hurst is suffering from lack of popularity, I really do.
Yeah, it's bound to affect his confidence. No Ivan Athon, if you weren't with us earlier on for Ipswich Town, because of a knock. Maybe Chuba Akpom will get the final, 20 minutes or so. Clark gives the ball back to Johnson, the man who got Town's equaliser. Now Greaves turns and whips the ball back to Walton. Walton controls it with his left boot and passes it out to Neil. Neil from the D lays it off back into the area to O'Shea, along with floor to Furlong. Furlong up towards the halfway line. It's straight to Neumann. Neumann breaks forward from centre half, gives the ball to Solis. Osman up against Furlong on the Birmingham left, tiptoeing towards the Ipswich area, gets away from, gets to the byline, in comes his cross, deflected into the net, but will it count? I don't think it will. The flag seems to be up near side as the Birmingham City players start to celebrate. Don't know whether the ball went out of play or it was a handball. It's not going to count. It's still 2-1 Ipswich.
Well, from here I would have said he's run it just out of play, and the official was in a good position to sort of give the decision. But just prior to that, I was thinking Darnell Furlong's passing today has been absolutely shocking. He doesn't seem to be himself at all, and then he was almost beaten on the run to the byline as well.
Osman in disbelief, still complaining about that decision. Ain't going to make any difference now. Doesn't count. Here he is again, Osman on the ball. He did go past Furlong very well a moment or so ago. Big test for Furlong by the looks of things. He looks lively, Osman. Headed away by Clara, out far side for a throw to Ipswich Town. Can they get a second half goal? So I guess I'll sit a bit more comfortably in our seats live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport afterwards. 0800 141 2121 is the phone number, or text 81333. Start those messages SFK, or WhatsApp 08000 321 333, and again start those SFK. Yeah, Chuba Akpom and Jack Taylor have just come back to the bench, maybe a sign of things to come. Priska out to the left hand side, and Stansfield for Birmingham in the right back area and outside the Ipswich Town box. So this could be a threat. Stansfield comes in field, shoots well, blocked by the captain O'Shea, and it comes to Solis. Birmingham livened up by that goal they felt was good but was disallowed. Right-footed ball whipped in by Osman, blocked away by Ipswich Town. Stansfield looks up, back it goes to Laird. On that right-hand side, Birmingham infield given away, easily intercepted by Neil. Neil then takes a tumble. Solis should get there ahead of Mehmeti, and does. Just holds off his man for good measure. Almost lost it though. Tomoki steps in and feeds the ball back to Beadle. We've still got 19 minutes plus added on time to go. More than enough time for Birmingham to get something from this. Tomoki tried the pass back, but it was being read by Nunez. Vicente. Infield to Tomoki. Tomoki up towards Priska outside the Ipswich area. Turns, gives it to the right-hand side of Vicente. One touch, then crosses towards the far post. Osman is there. It's over the top of him and Furlong. Osman keeps the ball in play underneath the Birmingham fans. Rolls it back to Laird. Now it's with Solis. Solis with the ball forward. Laird with a touch. Stansfield with a shot. Good block from O'Shea. Stansfield felt that was travelling towards the net. Put forward by Neumann. Cleared out by Johnson. Ipswich Town under a bit of pressure at the moment. Jaden Philogene looks like he's coming on. So too Jack Taylor, and maybe Chuba Akpom for a triple change for Ipswich Town.
Yeah, they're all sort of forward players, if you like. We need people that can fetch and carry. That's what we desperately need, and they're midfield players.
Here comes Laird with this throw-in from the right-hand side. Birmingham looking for an equaliser in the penalty area off to our right, and it comes from Laird. The back header on from Clara is not a particularly good one. Headed away by Nunez, controlled by Tomoki. Tomoki to the right-hand side. Laird on his favoured right foot wants to take on Clark. He's beaten him. In comes his cross, volleyed away by Hurst off the edge of the 6-yard area. All hands on deck.
Well, I've never seen us push back so much at home as this.
Town caught napping, but the referee was unhappy about something. He wasn't allowing Birmingham to take that throw-in. Now 3 of their players are complaining to Mr. Herzog. So a little audition for Chuba Akpom to see if he can catch the eye and maybe get the nod on Saturday lunchtime. Laird with a decent run-up and then a hop, skip and a jump as he throws the ball in. Poor one, headed away well by Johnson. Really good header by the left-back. Clipped up in the air and forward by Solis. Again, Johnson's underneath it. Again, justifying his place at left-back this afternoon, Johnson.
Oh, he's done well,
hasn't he?
He's been all right. Compared with Darnell Furlong, he's been exceptional. You know, the right-back has struggled right the way through. The left-back has been decent.
Right. Town about to make this change. Here we go. Clark off, Philogene on. It's going to be an interesting selection out of Saturday as well. Nunez is going off, so Dan Neil will have had 3 different partners alongside him. Taylor will sit in alongside Neil. And it is indeed, obviously, Hurst off and Akpom on.
I understand that one, the Nunez-Taylor one, because we need some trustworthiness in that centre of midfield, some running power, some tenacious play, and I think that Neil and Taylor is the perfect sort of combination for what we want at present.
Laird with this throw-in. Yep. Taylor's not out of the reckoning when it comes to potential starters on Saturday, particularly if it's a rare game without Azor Matusiwa. Laird with this throw-in to the Ipswich town area. Hasn't been dealt with yet. Solis, an air shot from him, enjoyed by the town supporters. He gives it to Tomoki. Tomoki to the right, and Laird. Laird wants to take on Philogene. Gets it down the line to Vicente. Mehmeti uses his body well again. Mehmeti down the line into the path of Philogene. Lovely play from Anis Mehmeti. Philogene just on as a substitute down the left-hand side. Holds up the ball, wants to take on Vicente. It's Stansfield who comes away with the ball. Great sliding challenge from Taylor. It's out of play for a throw to Birmingham into the final quarter of an hour. Taylor gets a yellow card for lobbing the ball into the crowd. I did wonder if the referee might see that as a foul. Clipped over the top by Birmingham. O'Shea guides his header back to Walton. 14 to go on BBC Radio Suffolk. No goals in the second half, so still 2-1 thanks to the goals in the first from Vicente, and then Johnston McAteer given away by Ipswich Town. Stansfield tried to put it into the far corner, but it was a foul. It was Town trying to be a bit too clever playing football outside their area, and they got caught initially.
Yeah, we're not playing well enough to get involved in that type of play. You know, maybe just hit the front of the team, you know, and just sort of play from there. You know, don't mess around just around your own penalty area.
It's a free kick at the back. Just in general, so many interesting selection dilemmas ahead of Saturday for Kieran McKenna. Walton up to halfway, chested down by Laird onto the centre spot. Tomoki pushes it forward. Greaves is in the way.
Did not the referee see that?
Didn't seem to. Here is Osman. Clearly likes to run with the ball, taking on all-comers far side. Gives it back to Solis. Solis back to the left, far side under the Birmingham fans, and Laird down that line to Osman against Furlong. Birmingham still totally in this game and still posing something of a threat. Osman gets the byline. Good running from Osman. Excellent from Osman. Comes off of Walton out for a corner kick. He's a lively customer, Osman.
Well, also his marker is not doing a very good job, Darnell Furlong. That's the second time he's allowed him to get into that sort of byline position. The first one, fortunately, he sort of took it over the line, but they're dangerous situations.
Corner kick to Birmingham. The two giant centre-halves are up there. Pruska looks a good 6'2", 6'3" as well, and it comes from Stansfield. Woeful. Thankfully, headed away by Johnson. Patrick Roberts about to come on for Birmingham. Good footballer. Maybe a double change as well, by the looks of things. Forward from Beadle, headed away by Johnson over on that right-hand side. Birmingham have the ball with Clara. Town's two full-backs have swapped over momentarily. Johnson's at right-back, Furlong's at left-back. It's not made that, no, it's just an open play. Now they're going to switch back. They just found themselves on opposite sides of the field for 30 seconds there, Johnson and Furlong. Now they're back to where they've been since 3 o'clock largely. Roberts and Dutch are both coming on. Dutch, no surprise whatsoever, will come on for Priska, one would have thought, and Roberts, who's a player I've always liked, ex-Fulham, Manchester City, Celtic, he's been at Sunderland in recent times, Welsh international. He's had a good season as well, he's been starting fairly regularly. Birmingham likely to get stronger with these changes. Taylor gets the ball back to Johnson, 11 minutes to go. Philogene up against Laird. Now, say Samuel, sorry. Philogene to Taylor. Taylor running to Stansfield. Johnson down the line to Anis Mehmeti, who of course started his career at Norwich City. Anis Mehmeti will be back there this weekend. In goes Greaves. Clara. Down the line from Say Samuel into the hands of Chris Davis. It's going to be a nervy final 10 minutes. See whether Ipswich Town can get this comeback victory over the line. Johnson towards Philogene. Infield from Johnson to Stansfield. Stansfield forward, trying to get Priska in behind. Walton's going to have to be quick. Good goalkeeping. Had to really sprint out of his box. That was excellent from Walton.
That was good. There was a suggestion that he might not get there.
Yeah,
if he hadn't have got there, we were in serious trouble. But his legs got in there and the clearance was good.
Yeah, again, good performance from him. Off goes Vicente, and he's going to be replaced by Roberts, who I just talked about. And Marvin Dutch, who'd spent all of his career in Germany up until last year's transfer window, is actually coming on for Stansfield. So he's going to play alongside Priska. So he brings a lot more height to the Birmingham City front line. All of a sudden a very tall team. Yeah, he's had a few big clubs in Germany. Marvin Dutch started at Borussia Dortmund, came from Werder Bremen. 11 goals this season. He's been a major threat for Birmingham. Roberts tries to get the better of Philogene. Philogene runs into trouble. In goes Neil on his former Sunderland colleague Roberts. Say Samuel through the legs of the referee to Laird. 9 minutes to go. Solis getting the better of Mehmeti. Infield from Osman on the far side to Laird. The ball's on the Birmingham left in front of the Cobbold stand. Ipswich Town at the moment second in the live table ahead of Middlesbrough playing at tea time. Coventry also play this evening. Neumann. Roberts just flicks it on, not sure that ball was intended for him. Johnson wants to see it out behind and should be able to do just that.
Yeah, but if I could lift this game up there, I'd be much happier. But it's all so much right in front of us. It's unbelievable. You know why we can't work the ball into the Birmingham half and keep the play in there, I don't know.
Yeah, Middlesbrough are at Swansea at 5:30, and then Coventry go to Hull at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow it's Wrexham against Southampton. That's a massive game as well, that Wrexham-Southampton match. Southampton, of course, now FA Cup semi-finalists. They'll come off the back of that Manchester City game at Wembley to play Ipswich Town a few days later in that Town's penultimate league game. They've got such a backlog of fixtures, Southampton. Furlong with a throw-in for Ipswich Town. 7.5 minutes plus added on time away from a very important home win. On a run on the far side is Akpom. Has that ball. It's come off a Birmingham player. It's corner kick to Ipswich Town. The only question mark was whether Akpom was fouling Clara, but the referee's assistant saying no, it's a corner to Town.
Yeah, this has just given them an opportunity. It doesn't matter how badly you've been playing. If you get a corner kick, all it takes is quality service, decent run and a decent header, and you could well be in a good position, you know. So this is a chance. We've got big enough players to deal with this.
7 minutes to go at Portman Road. Jayden Philogene places the ball down in the far corner. Corner kick to Ipswich Town with 7 minutes still to play. They lead Birmingham 2-1. Philogene right-footed, and it's a way swinger towards O'Shea. Oh, what a goal that would have been. It curled away from the captain's right foot. It looked, time almost stood still as if it was going to go into the far corner of the net and be an absolute beauty, but sadly from our perspective it was the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, it was super connection. You know exactly what he was trying to do. He wasn't far off target. It was a decent effort.
Really good. The keeper wouldn't have got there either. The attendance 29,381. Beadle with his right footer. 6 minutes exactly to go. Solis over the top. And on the second bounce, Walton takes charge of that. At the moment, it's just 7 goals conceded in their last 15 games here for Ipswich Town. Birmingham have the ball. Dutch has given it to Solis. Neil with an important interception to a point. Solis gets it back to Moki. Out to the left-hand side. Osman, edge of the area. Has it go off the post, saved by Walton. Back to Laird. Another block from Ipswich Town. Oh, so close to conceding. Excellent stuff. I think Walton maybe touched it onto the post. And it comes again. Walton catches it. Good work from the goalkeeper. As 3 Ipswich Town players are down inside the area. Looks like Johnson, Greaves and certainly Walton.
We have invited so much trouble, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a good save actually in the end. It was a decent strike, good save, but the post had to get him out of trouble in the end, but he's still done his job, Christian Walton there. Really good.
I think he blocked the follow-up as well. Here comes a change for Ipswich Town. It's Casey McAteer going off to be replaced by Cedric Kipre. Let's see how Town line up for the remainder of this game. That's some really good goalkeeping from Walton. One of Town's better performers on the day. So I'll look at him. Johnson, Greaves. McAteer's been lively. At the moment, McAteer has the winning goal.
My guess is that Furlong will get some assistance from Ben Johnson, because I think Kieran McKenna will be really worried with their left-hand side. Darnell Furlong having a poor game. Greaves will come to left-back. Kipri into his usual role of centre-back. Yep. That'll take care of this side. The other side, where the threat is coming, you'll have one full-back sitting in front of another full-back.
Cleared forward by Walton. Now it's with Kipre. Kipre loops it forward, bouncing on the edge of the Birmingham area. Akpom was brought down by Neumann. What's the referee doing here? No free kick, or possibly, as well as that, maybe a red card, had he deemed that to be a foul by Neumann. The Ipswich Town analysts to my left-hand side are furious nothing was given. They're all banging their desks as Laird goes back towards Solis. 3.5 minutes of normal time to go. Town still leading 2-1. We talked pre-match whether Casey McAteer might have a Sarmiento or a Russo moment in him at some point this season. It's not been as dramatic as Sarmiento's 97th minute winner. Nowhere near like that, but he has, at the moment, given Ipswich Town a whiff of a comeback victory, their first one since Sarmiento against Southampton 2 years ago. Solis to Neumann. Still work to be done. Birmingham still right in this. Neumann with the ball into the Ipswich area, guided away by the right instep of Furlong. He and Johnson are doubling up far side. Neumann cushions the ball back towards Beadle. The clock behind them says 87 minutes and 6 seconds played. You're listening to full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. Greaves volleys the ball up in the air. Neil forward, headed away by Neumann. Neil about to get his first experience of an East Anglian derby at the weekend. So to Anas Mehmeti, who's on a chase after Solis. Solis has the ball for Birmingham to the left-hand side. Laird with a thankfully awful cross high into the lower tier of the Ralph Ramsey stand.
Yeah, he's got himself into a good position, but the cross is awful. But you can see that double up on that far side. That's been, you know, on already 3 occasions that's been handy, where Furlong can sort of just sit behind Ben Johnson, and the threat, basically, the dribbling threat has gone away.
Here comes Walton, left-footed over the halfway line, headed on towards Mehmeti. 2 players go down. It's Johnson who's been penalised for a foul on Laird in the eyes of the referee. And it's going to be Beadle to take it. Ipswich Town closing in on another home victory. It's going to be results away from home, though, that seal or otherwise their destiny this season. Here is Beadle up towards the front line of Birmingham, edge of the Ipswich area, headed away by Greaves, and Pearce in the air. He's been excellent again today. Solace to Osei Samuel. Solace again. Laird up against Johnson. Rolls the ball up towards Dutch. Back it goes to Osman. Low ball in this time from Osman. Dealt with by O'Shea. Out to the halfway line in the 90th minute. Casey McAteer, the match winner. Osman on a run, held up by Johnson, who brings him down. Kieran McKenna's clearly seen the danger of Osman down the Birmingham left and acted. It's Roberts delicately positioning this free kick for Birmingham. Around about, 34, 35 yards from goal. He's eyeing up a colleague with this delivery, the Welshman. Roberts glaring towards the edge of the area off to our right-hand side as we approach the final 10 seconds of the 90 minutes. Into the Ipswich area it comes. Laird gets under his header. And over the top, the ball loops. 4 minutes of added on time. That'll do nicely. I was worried there might be more.
Yeah, that's a decent return for all the substitutions that have taken place.
We'll take that. Town 4 minutes away from beating Birmingham City. Hasn't been a great performance. It's incredible for me, really, that they're second in the championship table, but they are. You have to give them massive credit. The way they've reacted to that Wrexham defeat, gone on this run at the moment of what would be 8 unbeaten. There is Greaves, without being particularly good, it has to be said, but it's all about results and getting back into the Premier League. Walton, he's had a good game. Left-footed, down the line looking for Philogene. Well taken by Osei Samuel. Then he gets away from a couple of players, Mehmeti and Philogene, but not Taylor. Good challenge from Taylor. 3 minutes to go. Both managers very active on the touchline down below us. Ball forward looking for Osman. It goes all the way through to Walton. Such a good season since coming in for Alex Palmer. It's been great to see. Walton left-footed down the middle looking for Akpom. The header goes to Mehmeti. Then out to Philogene. Philogene holds on to the ball. Forward from Greaves down the line. Has he asked too much of Mehmeti? Probably. Neumann comes across the ball. Didn't have the legs to go out behind. Neumann's had to clear up to the halfway line. 2.5 minutes of the added-on 4 still to play. Philogene takes a tumble under a challenge from Osei Samuel. Roberts has the ball for Birmingham. Made his first ever championship appearance here, Patrick Roberts, for Fulham many moons ago. Greaves this time takes it on his chest, lobs the ball forward. Mehmeti goes after it. Neumann's there. Neumann's little header's picked up by Mehmeti. Mehmeti at least sees it out for a throw-in. Halfway through the added-on 4 minutes. Here comes Greaves with the throw-in. Casey McAteer awarded the Man of the Match award. It'd be lovely to think we might speak to Casey post-match. Greaves, another one who's had a good game with this throw for Town. Down the line, headed on by Philogene. Cleared up by Neumann to the halfway line. 90 seconds for Birmingham to get something out of this game. Roberts tangles with Taylor. Taylor, one of those that have been away on international duty the last couple of weeks. Sadly missing out on the World Cup, though, with a Dara O'Shea, Casey McAteer, Sam Smodix, Chiawog Benny. Guess they'll get a rest in the summer. Walton from way out of his area. We are very, very close to an Ipswich victory, which will elevate them into the automatic promotion places before Middlesbrough play later. And will all be Swansea fans. Laird in the sunshine far side. Ball up towards Osman. This is it for Birmingham. They've got to score from this attack. Osman's ball forward is cut out. Mehmeti goes to ground. Free kick. Won the foul well, Mehmeti. Waste a bit more valuable time. And understandably, nobody in a great hurry to take this set piece. So Kieran McKenna's thoughts on the way on BBC Radio Suffolk. Hopefully we'll get those in there in the next 40 minutes or so. And hopefully before 6 o'clock. We'll also hear from an Ipswich Town player. One or two fans leaving, but many more staying behind to celebrate with their boys in blue as Birmingham clear the ball off the edge of their area. Looped forward by Neil. Clara nods it down, cleared by Tomoki. And there is the full-time whistle on Easter Monday. For the first time in 2 years, Ipswich Town come from behind to win a game. And what a victory it is. This 2-1 success over Birmingham lifts them up to second place in the championship table with 7 more games of the regular season to go. Kieran McKenna puffs out his cheeks, and I know exactly how he feels.
Well, we got there, and at this stage of the season it is about results, and this was a vital result for us to get. We've got it, but you've got to say that we basically only played for 4 minutes. 4 minutes of the 90, we were exceptional. That's when we got the 2 goals. Before that, we were dull. We were not aggressive enough. We weren't quick enough. And then in the entire second half, we sat off it. We allowed a very poor Birmingham team to dominate the whole game territorially. Nearly, I would say, 80% of the game was in this half of the pitch, the south stand half of the pitch. That's the end that Birmingham were attacking. So basically we've got away with it. I don't know where we're going to sort of go to from here. We've got to certainly improve as a team. We know the results are there if we play well, but if we don't play well, then this can happen. You can have a very, very substandard performance, and against a better team, this would have been a defeat. There's no question about it. You could not give this amount of a game to the likes of Norwich, Southampton, Middlesbrough, people of that calibre. They will just say thanks very much and take the points and go home. You know, we've got to really look at ourselves closely. I think the manager picked a team with the Norwich game in mind. I think he was trying to box clever, if you like. I think he was trying to look at the 2 fixtures as a one, and I don't think it came off. I don't think it was helped very much by Matisua's injury, but even before then, it wasn't right. When he came off, funny enough, we actually produced that 5 minutes that we played for, and we got ourselves in front. But then when you saw how were those 3 going to play together in the centre midfield over a period of time, I'm afraid it wasn't good enough. You know, the threesome of Nunes in a more holding position with Neil a little bit deeper than him, and then Mehmeti slightly advanced. Those 3, I'm afraid, didn't get control of the game. It took another substitution of bringing Nunes off, putting Taylor on to see if you could give it a bit more strength, a bit more desire. It got slightly better, if you like, but not much, and Birmingham continued to dominate, and the domination was that good in the centre of midfield. The supply to the Birmingham left-hand side was all too frequent, and they became such a threat down the left-hand side that Kieran had to make a defensive reshuffle. He brought Jacob Greaves out to left-back, Kipri came on to go into the centre-back position, and he doubled up down our right-hand side with 2 full-backs. You know, if you're having to do that at home, then you have problems. You really have. I didn't like this performance at all, but I'm just actually pleased we've got the result. The result is all important. especially when Norwich have gone down to Millwall and for once in their lifetime done us a big favour. But I'm interested to see where we go to from here, because I'm not seeing today. I'm not seeing it, but we've got the result. We've got the points. We're in a terrific league position. Now we really must take hold of it, and take hold of it by performing well.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Just finally, how big a problem would it be if Matusiwa doesn't make Saturday for Ipswich Town going into that game?
Well, I think that's going to be a big problem. I really do. I just think that recently I've seen Norwich on the box, I've seen Southampton on the box, and I've seen Middlesbrough on the box, and all three of them have this ability to play through midfield. They don't favour the flanks like we do. They like the midfield. They like to pass through the midfield, and they're very good at it. Now, if we go into a game without Matusiwa, he's the most consistent one of ours, and when he's with Neil, then it does give you a certain amount of strength. We have seen it play really well. I mean, I remember us at Coventry, where we were exceptional. But it's the three-man midfield today at the moment doesn't look good enough to take care of the Norwich midfield, the Middlesbrough midfield, or the Southampton midfield. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be really interesting when the team news is announced in a number of areas, really, on Saturday morning, around about 11:15. That will be. We're on air from 11:30, the full match commentary of the East Anglian Derby. But thankfully, at least Ipswich Town head into it off the back of a victory. They had to win this one, and despite falling behind, they finally have Casey McAteer, the man of the match, having got the winner. Ipswich Town have beaten Birmingham by 2-1.